From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the Kern County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy, and our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Peters?
Here.
Supervisor Parlier?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Couch?
Here.
Supervisor Perez?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the Tuesday, June 9th, 2 p.m. meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We'll begin with a report on action taken in closed session.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. This morning, following the AM agenda, your board heard items 78 through 81 in closed session. There were no reportable actions taken.
Okay, thank you. We'll move now to the consent agenda. All items listed with a CA or C above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. The CA represents the consent agenda for the Board of Supervisors. The C represents the consent agenda for the Kern Sanitation Authority and or Ford City Taft Heights Sanitation District and or the IHSS Public Authority. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If members of the audience wish to comment or ask questions regarding an item on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken on the consent agenda. Members of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda and it will be listed or considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before any action is taken. Members of the public may also comment on closed session items. The consent agenda for the Board of Supervisors includes item 4 on page 2, items 5 through 7 on page 3, 9 through 11 on page 4. 9 through 11 on page 4 are not on consent. Items 12 through 16 on page 5 are on consent. 17 through 22 on page 6. 23 through 30 on page 7. 31 through 37 on page 8. 38 through 44 on page 9. 45 through 50 as well as item 52 on page 10. Items 53 through 59 on page 11. And lastly, items 60 through 61 on page 12. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak regarding the consent agenda?
David Abbasi, AKA Spartacus, the watchdog. That guy needs to recuse himself. Christian Parlier, you have a contract that is being transferred to Ryan Christian Parlier. Relative? Son, maybe? You're voting on something that's going to clearly benefit your family on this consent agenda, and you're still sitting there. What item is it? Can you guys help me out? What item number is it with
I don't know what item you're referring to.
a contract is being transferred from one person to another, from one entity to another that's controlled by by Parlier's son
You know what, Mr. Abbasi
or
brings,
somebody.
Spartacus,
Yeah.
he brings up a good point, and I may have missed this. I knew it was coming.
Oh. I know it wasn't intentional, right, sure.
Anyway, Mr. Chair, if that item is there, I will recuse myself, obviously.
I don't know what item we're talking about. I think we need to establish that.
You're all witnesses. If I did not come here today, he would have voted to enrich his family with a county contract.
There is no county contract.
It was the item you just recused yourself, which was transferring one agreement to another entity, which that entity then will get the benefit and, of course, the money. That's how these things work. Thank you for your time. Watching you. You're done.
Good afternoon, Director.
Chairman Peters, members of the board, Josh Champlin, Public Works Director. I'd like to clear up that item. That's under the Public Works heading today. What that is that's an agreement between Public Works and a developer. And these are typical, so a developer comes in and they bond for amounts. So say they want to do an industrial, commercial, or residential development, they come in and they have to bond for the complete amount of the project being finished. And if they do not make good on that construction, we pull their bond. And Mr. Ryan Parlier, he purchased this property from the prior owner, and he's simply transferring that bond agreement from the prior owner to be under contract with us, so that we make sure that whoever's developing that land gets the job done.
So let me get clarification from county council. Kendra,
Yes.
in this case, I mean, they err on the side of caution. More than happy to, not vote on this item, but like Josh said, it's just a bond. What it is, he bought some land and he's gonna build some houses on it.
I think in this instance, I would go ahead and err on the side of caution and recuse from that one item. And then I can look at it further at a later time and see if things coming up in the future would require it. There's also, it's, the fact that he doesn't live with you also plays into that. He's not a member of your household, so I don't know that it's an actual conflict. But we will examine that for future reference, but I would suggest at this point, go ahead and err on the side of caution and recuse.
And just to be clear too, I think the corporate name is under our last name, but I have nothing to do with any of the business or business endeavors. It's just the
Understood.
same name, if it was Smith or Jones or anything else.
Understood. Yeah, my answer still stands. It's your decision. It's been raised. I don't believe there's an actual conflict, but to err on the side of caution is always a prudent way to go.
And I don't have to recuse, I just don't vote on that item. Is that correct, or should I?
It's on consent, so you can state that you're not voting on that item. So when you vote on the consent calendar, you'll be voting on everything but that item.
Okay. Josh, give me that clarification item number one more time, please.
It's item number 30.
So to err on the side of caution, Mr. Chair, I'm going to vote on the consent agenda except for item 30,
Okay,
but I'm going to stay at the dais.
understood. Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you. Director Champlin.
Something?
Good.
All right, are there any other members of the public that would like to make comment on the consent agenda?
Good afternoon. My name is Jose Padilla. I don't know if this is for item number 12. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
I'm here because there's supposed to be a hearing for my property that I own in Lake Isabella. I have a property with three lots.
Real quick, sir, sorry to interrupt. Could you give us the address or the street,
Okay.
just so I know which item
The
it is?
address is 15408 Highway 178. But there's actually two separate sites, you guys are charging me on two separate IP addresses.
Okay.
So what it is, I have this property that I lend to vet to go ahead and, he was taking stuff on donation, and he was giving people will come and there was items when people died or whatever, he'll take stuff on donation. And what he was doing is that he was giving it back to the community, and they were donating money for him to survive. And I was lending him this property. Next thing you know, there was some kind of citations that I was not aware due to, I found out that there was 3 lots after 5 years when I got a big old bill from the tax collector separately. that, you know, I have 3 separate lots. And now I just found out that I owe almost $10,000 in fees for cleaning up this property because he's right here, the man is here. They came and warned him to clean up the property and he didn't clean it up, or he didn't know how to get to a process to do it. And you guys came in one day and said, hey, we're here to clean up, came with a bulldozer and started cleaning everything up. He got me on the phone. I told the people who were gonna clean up, hey, this is illegal for you guys to do this. You guys needed to notify me and let me know
Okay.
to go through a process.
If I could interrupt you for just a second.
Yes.
I think that's the 2 minutes, but.
Oh, okay.
I neglected to mention earlier that items E and H, 12E and 12H are pulled from the agenda. That what you're talking about is item 12F and 12K. And
12
if it's okay with our Public Works Department, I'll ask maybe if we could just pull those as well and give this gentleman an opportunity to try and work through those issues.
I
With your
appreciate
board, if
that.
that's okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, number one, I was trying to help
Sure.
a vet, you know, survive.
Understood.
And number two, you know, I'm just trying to make things right here, you know?
Understood. Well, if you wouldn't mind, just contacting the Public Works Department and they'll.
I just need a number who I can get direct, cause I know I was trying to get different places.
Sure.
And it's hard to get to you guys,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, if Josh, can you raise your hand right there? If you
I
could
will
connect with
work
Mr.
with him.
Champlin.
I appreciate you guys, you
Sure.
know, I hope you guys do the correct job with Kern County. Thank you.
Sir. Okay, are there any other members of the public that would like to talk about a consent agenda item? Okay, seeing none, I am going to bring it back to the board.
Motion on consent.
Quick question. So 30, we're going to vote separately?
I believe it's just going to be reflected in the minutes that your vote was not on item 30.
Yeah, it's item, that's correct. It's item 30, and
Okay.
you'll go ahead and vote on the rest of the consent agenda, and the minutes will note that you did not vote on item 30.
Perfect, thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, all ayes, other than 30 with 1 recusal.
Okay. As part of that motion, we adjourned as the Board of Supervisors, and we have reconvened as the Kern Sanitation Authority. And as the Kern Sanitation Authority, we'll consider item C1. Is there any member of the public that would like to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, all ayes.
And that motion could have included to reconvene, to adjourn as,
Yeah, well, we got our updated minutes now, so that's automatically included in the
All right,
staff
thank you.
recommendation. But thanks for catching that. So we are now sitting as the Board of Supervisors, and we'll consider public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any item that is not on this agenda but is under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, may ask questions for clarification, make referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes, and we ask that you please state and spell your name. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak on an item that's not on this agenda? Please come down to the microphone.
My concern is the Kern River sign on 178 entering the canyon. I have a request. I feel that it's not a big enough deal, even though it's big. I feel that flashing lights, just like they have for crosswalks, like alerting drivers who are entering, don't forget, or they're new here, just a flashing. And possibly another statement that's in large caps, extremely strong current. After seeing things on the news of, I don't know which department was Fish and Game or the county, and the woman's describing how calm it looks. It's like a pool, and there's an undercurrent, and it sucks you in immediately. And I'm tired of seeing people die. And I do believe it could possibly mitigate the need for as many emergency calls. That's a good thing. If there's just, I don't know, that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, those are some great suggestions. I appreciate that. We'll
Okay.
take that under
All
advisement.
right, you're welcome, thank you.
Ma'am,
you.
could you state your name for the record,
Oh,
please?
yeah, Deborah Maxson, Maxson, and I live here in Kern County.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
15 years, okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Slayton, Jenniffer Slayton, and I'm a Ridgecrest resident, which is in the Indian Wells Valley. And if you haven't been paying attention, the Indian Wells Valley has the dubious honor of having the first proposed hyperscale AI-ready data center in Kern County. Obviously, our residents and communities share the same concerns as those across the state and nation about the massive external impacts that this will have on everything from water and power to noise and air, water pollution, overall quality of life, property values, and so much more. These impacts are probably even more concerning at the proposed location because the formal designation of our groundwater basin is already in critical overdraft, and because of the incredible limits on infrastructure that are common to all unincorporated communities in the county, but are especially hard felt in the community of Inyo Kern, which is 120 years old. And given that this is being proposed in a medium industrial zone where impacts are not supposed to extend beyond the boundaries of the zoning district, and where homes sit 370 feet away, and a school with 80% of students being disadvantaged is 1,400 feet away, we don't feel it's a compatible zoning use. So if this project does make it through the California Energy Commission, where it's reviewed now, you will undoubtedly hear more from me on that. But what I'm here today is not to talk about our specific data center, but about the issue that we now know is knocking on the door of our entire county, and how to ensure that Kern County's business-friendly attitude can live in harmony with the fact that these specific businesses do have significant adverse environmental impacts on those around them, especially close neighbors and especially unincorporated communities where residents are under the jurisdiction of the already stretched thin county and its resources. So today I'm here to ask our Board of Supervisors to direct our planning department to work with local communities and residents to create a set of data center minimum guidelines or design standards that can help ensure that the development that we know is coming can be done in a way that doesn't harm our local residents. I suspect the response on this is the purpose of the conditional use permitting process, but that's not fair to our businesses or our residents. Residents should know that our county is protecting their health and safety and quality of life, and developers should have a fair understanding of where they can realistically pursue projects that will ultimately bring in a lot of tax dollars for this county that we need. So selfishly, given where the IWV is, and in the process of addressing our data center, I would also urge the Board of Supervisors to consider putting a temporary moratorium on data center development until we do have fair and consistent guidelines.
Ms. Slayton, I'm sorry.
you so much.
Okay, no worries. I was going to let you wrap up. I know you drove a long way, but.
I have the paragraph I left out,
Well, we
and I only
appreciate
drove
it.
from Lamont today.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. And I know that, as you're
We'll be
aware,
seeing each
I'm
other
on the,
tomorrow.
the Groundwater Authority and, share concerns about groundwater impacts. But I know that there are some issues regarding what we can and can't say regarding projects that haven't come before the board yet. Could you maybe clarify that a little bit, Ms. Graham?
Yes, it is my understanding that Ms. Slayton is correct that this will be subject to a conditional use project or process in the future. And so there are some due process issues and concerns that run with that. Your board really should not at this time, knowing that it's coming before you in the very near future, do any type of investigation or directives on this matter, because you are sitting as a quasi-judicial hearing body. And so we want to preserve the due process and not get involved in that process at this time. Unless and until it comes before your board, then of course you may have questions and may refer staff back to do additional research on that particular matter and report back to you.
But given that I'm not speaking about our specific project and asking for a county-wide set of data center development guidelines, I feel like that's probably a separate issue from our issue, which will maybe come here.
Ms. Slayton, so if probably the best course of action right now would be if you could reach out. We'll, Supervisor Flores and I are both on the legislative program committee where we deal with, engagement on state level legislative matters. And I know that there's some state legislation in that realm that we've asked staff just to track. So we're aware as it impacts county land use issues. So we'd be happy to.
Just to clarify, we're asking for a county-wide level, not a
Understood.
state level set of design guidelines.
I
So
appreciate that.
Just to clarify that.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Next speaker, please. And again, this is for items that are not on this agenda.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. My name's Donnie Williams, D-O-N-N-Y, W-I-L-I-A-M-S. And this is not on the agenda, but it's a public problem. If you did not see the news, Sunday night there was a disturbance once again on Panorama, at the Panorama Park. Mr. Flores, that's in your district. I did see you on a conversation on the news, but I'm here to let you guys know, one death with last year. This person was run over and shot at just Sunday night. That is a problem. I'm here to let you guys know, I pay into Measure N, 1 cent sales tax to the city. I pay into Measure K, which is the sales tax for the county. Mr. Flores, you did put solar lights up there. But you know what? I think we need to look at Measure K funds and put that all the way down there.
Yeah, I've got
And it's dark in that parking lot. I drive up there to go back to my house on Christmas Tree Lane, and sometimes after 10 o'clock, all I'm telling you is this: if we don't light it, look at the collective bargaining agreement for your park rangers that you have. Yes, you're short park rangers, but you know what? They don't work an 8 to 5 job. You have police and sheriffs that work 365, 24/7. Let's do that for our park rangers. I have yet to see one of them park there. Let's make them do their job, and let's put our Measure K taxpayers' money to work. Thank you. I don't want to see another dead body.
Yeah, me neither. Let me address that, Chairman, if I may. Yeah, so we're building our park ranger program. Sheriff can talk about that more. We've got 35 to 40 rangers now that cover all the county-wide parks, including Panorama Park. That county park is in the city, and the first responder for any emergency is Bakersfield Police Department. Having said that, I've engaged with Kern County Sheriff's Office for more patrols, not just from the rangers, but also deputy sheriffs. So we've got a three-prong approach: sheriffs, sheriff rangers, and police department. In addition to that, increased enforcement, I think, would go a long way on the curfew, as well as targeted sweeps like we used to do that would net a lot of arrests, after hours, drugs, gangs, congregation, everything. I think a lot of it has to do with breaking the curfew. And so Supervisor Parley and myself were discussing bringing in additional cameras like you see at some of the shopping centers to give us additional eyes and ears. And Measure K and Measure N are fundamental. And we're going to continue on that. And I've got more lighting, not just that we've installed, but more lighting on the way to cover these areas with more protection. So I agree, one death is too many, and we'll keep at it. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that would like to speak on a matter not on this agenda? Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jack, JAC. I'm here specifically to talk about the data center being built in Kern. I mainly want to talk about the lack of actual value in generative AI. I think a lot of people get most of their information on this technology from tech CEOs who have a vested interest in making people think that this technology is one day going to be very valuable. As someone who has been working in the generative AI industry out of necessity for the past year and a half, I'm here to tell you artificial intelligence in the way most people think of it does not exist. These large language models that you see proliferating all over the internet, that are the main reason these data centers are being built, ostensibly, are incapable fundamentally of mimicking human intelligence. They are ultimately predictive text algorithms created by machine learning. And the technology of machine learning has been around since the 1980s. The only novel thing about generative AI is that we are suddenly pumping tons of data and power into these machine learning tools designed to simulate human language. And admittedly, they can be very useful at that. They can very convincingly simulate human language, and there are applications in medical research and in increasing the output of professional coders, but those applications do not require data centers. They can be done on much smaller networks, often with individual computers. And so what I will reiterate is that because they rely on machine learning technology, they are incapable of simulating human intelligence. They will not win this supposed AI arms race that we're in with China. What could move the needle in that regard is funding public education, specifically computer science programs, but what will not move the needle is letting big tech companies build these big, expensive, loud, polluting snake oil factories in our county. So I would ask, I know you guys aren't in much of a position right now to weigh in on that, but I would ask that you simply do what is in your power to hinder the development of these buildings. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public who'd like to make comment? Please come down to the podium.
Hello, it's been a while since I've been up here. Paul Linfesty, P-A-U-L-L-I-N-F-E-S-T-Y. I reside in District 3. Even though you haven't seen me here for a while, be assured I do watch these meetings on my computer at home. Anyway, I heard there's some probably misimpressions given this morning concerning our elections, and I just wanted to provide a little bit more clarity. And I'm watching the clock this time, let's see. There was an allusion to how elections are done in other countries, which actually aren't, I know, in your area. But one example is being alluded to without actually mentioning the country, which was India, that counted hundreds of millions of ballots in one day. The key word here was count, because their system they had was actually a whole 6-week system where different regions and different places vote during that 6-week period. All the ballots are stored and locked and kept in warehouses until that one day where it's a nationwide counting on one day. So I don't know how secure that is. They're not hand counted. They are counted by computers. And the ballots aren't actually paper ballots in most cases. They have machines where you could do it, which India has said is far more honest than doing it on paper ballots. So take those perspectives and take that into perspective. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I just want to say that I would rather have the votes be accurate than be rushed and maybe where mistakes can be made. And I really just want to say some good words about our election system here, because I do believe they work hard to make sure every ballot is accurately counted, even though it takes a lot longer than people would like. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other members of the public that would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 3, and that is board member announcements or reports. Any questions or comments from the board?
I don't have a report, Mr. Chairman. I have a suggestion. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that there's a lot of people here for item 51 that probably don't want to listen to an in-depth sewer discussion. So if you wanted to move 51 up, I would support that. Thank you.
Well, I will check in with our county counsel's office first and see if that would be acceptable.
Chairman Perez, that is your prerogative to do that.
Okay, well, that being said, I appreciate the suggestion. Supervisor Couch.
I apologize. I called you Chairman Perez. I meant Peters.
That's all right. We'll go ahead and go out of order, and we'll consider item 51 right now, and that is the proposed selection of influencers. Youth Sports is the successful vendor in response to a request for RFP for operating services of the baseball fields at Metropolitan Recreation Center. No problem. We'll give you guys a minute. Okay, as soon as they are ready and settled in, I'll turn it over to our General Services Director.
Threw us for a loop here. It's okay, we're ready. Michelle Burns-Lucich, Chief General Services Officer, along here with Deputy Chief General Service Officer Katrina Slayton. So before you today is the recommendation for the operating services agreement for recreational baseball facility at Kern County's Metropolitan Recreational Center. The Metro Recreational Center is located just south of Kern River and on the east side of Chester Avenue. It's adjacent to Stramler Park and the Kern County Museum. This recreational facility includes Samlin Ballpark, recreational baseball and softball fields, batting cages, remote control race car track, and BMX track, all under agreement with various operators operating on county property. The recreational baseball facility, it makes up 24.5 acres, including 13 baseball diamonds for youth and adult baseball, softball, and t-ball, public restrooms, concessions building, barbecue area, a maintenance building, a board meeting room, and parking area. Some history about the facility and its operators. In 1989 through 2002, there was an operational lease agreement that was awarded to Junior Baseball Association. In 2000, that league was combined and merged with Junior Baseball Association with Bakersfield Little League. In 2003, the competitive request for proposal process was begun to issue a new operational lease, and 3 proposals were received. Northwest Baseball was selected at that time. The operational agreement was issued for 5 years. However, in 2006, a 10-year extension was granted on this operational lease, along with 2 5-year optional extensions. This year, in July 2026, that final 5-year extension expires. I'm going to now hand it over to Katrina Slayton to take us through the competitive selection process.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. Thank you for having us today. So taking over from where the Chief Officer left off, this facility has experienced decline in the past several years, and that trend has continued. Shown here are several examples of deficiencies, including missing vents, along with a broken window that's just below that vent but not shown in the picture, deteriorating restroom exterior, restroom lights that flicker without the proper fixture covers. And historically, General Services has supported the current operator by performing tasks such as tree trimming, field mowing, various facility repairs, as county staff and budget resources have allowed. Just a couple of years ago, in 2024, the Northwest Baseball League requested the county to renegotiate the terms and conditions of their current operational agreement. They expressed difficulty in covering operational costs and needed repairs, citing limited financial and professional support from the community. A review of their profit and loss statements from 2021 through 2023 revealed that the financial challenges stemmed primarily from declining revenue rather than rising operational expenses. So in 2025, Northwest Baseball requested the installation of LED lighting to aid the reduction of utility costs. And your board did approve nearly $450,000 Measure K funding for the installation of that LED lighting at the Field 7, and that's the photo in the bottom right of this slide. General Services Management Team is committed to taking a closer look at operated facilities to ensure that the county assets are properly maintained. And with the current agreement expiring, this presented an opportunity to test the market to see if there were other interested operators. So the desired objective of issuing a new request for proposal was to seek an operator that's able to provide operational services at the baseball fields and facility, operate and maintain the facility in a clean, sanitary, and safe condition, provide a safe and fun recreational venue for the benefit of residents, utilize any proceeds to improve the facility, and generate sufficient revenue to sustain successful operation. So in December of last year, an RFP package was directly provided to over 20 potential operators and posted on the county website. In January, a pre-proposal meeting was held on site to provide an opportunity for potential operators and interested parties to see the facility and ask questions. As a result, 4 proposals were received. An evaluation committee made up of 4 staff with extensive park and facility operation knowledge, all county employees, met to receive copies of those 4 proposals, review the entire evaluation process, assign weights to evaluation criteria, which are discussed on the next slide. The evaluation committee had 1 week to individually review and score the 4 proposals, and then they met again to discuss the individual scoring and justify any comments. The evaluation criteria and assigned weights shown here include 20% for the proposer's understanding of the RFP requirements and end results, or that the proposal clearly presented a thorough response and approach that matched the county's requirements. 25% for the approach to required tasks that support the desired outcome and goals as stated in the scope of work. Another 20% for experience in operating similar facilities, 15% for continuity of operations during startup, or each proposer's readiness and implementation strategy for assuming preparations if it were to be necessary. Another 15% for qualifications of ability and experience, and lastly, 5% for client references for operations in similar size and scope, of which each proposer was requested to provide a minimum of 3. As shown here, the proposer's approach to task criteria was considered the most important and was assigned the greatest weight, giving the greatest influence on the final score. So based on the weighted average scores from the evaluation committee members, interactive youth sports ranked the highest with a total score greater than 91%. North of the River ranked second with 87.3%, and Northwest Baseball ranked third with a total weighted score of 86.9%. In February of this year, all proposers were notified of their selection or non-selection in writing. Next slide, please. Each proposer then had 7 calendar days to submit any additional information for final consideration and to request a debrief meeting or protest. Although no additional material was submitted, nor a protest received or formal meeting requested, Northwest Baseball did express concern regarding continued use of the facility for its recreational programs. As a result, on March 16th, the county hosted a meeting with both IYS, or Influencers Youth Sports, and Northwest Baseball to explore options that would allow Northwest Baseball continue using the facility while it's operated by IYS. IYS indicated a willingness to rent the baseball fields back to Northwest Baseball in a way that would support continuation of their existing program, while IYS would remain responsible for the overall facility maintenance and management. Representatives of Northwest Baseball stated that they could not make any commitments until after having a chance to meet with their own board. On April 10th, county staff received an email from Northwest Baseball stating that they were not interested in entering into negotiations, an agreement, or a contract with IYS. And so that brings us to today, where the General Services Department is requesting approval of the recommended operator so that a new agreement can be negotiated and executed. If your board chooses not to accept staff's recommendation today, your board can provide different direction, and staff will bring this item back at a future date for consideration. So in summary, the results of the RFP process resulted in the Influencers Youth Sports as the successful proposer to provide operational services of the recreational baseball facility at the Metropolitan Center based on their willingness to continue recreational baseball partnerships while expanding youth development opportunities and community programming, their willingness to reinvest operational efficiencies and cost savings into ongoing facility improvements and upgrades, and their commitment to proactive and preventative maintenance practices intended to preserve county asset and improve long-term facility conditions. So therefore, the department respectfully requests your board's approval to select Influencer Youth Sports as a successful vendor to provide operational services of the baseball fields at the Metropolitan Recreation Center and authorize the Chief General Services Officer to negotiate and execute an agreement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Supervisor Perez?
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation. It was comprehensive and user-friendly. Who participated in the selection committee? How many times did they meet? Can you tell me about that process?
Yes, Supervisor Perez, through the chair. We did have 4 evaluators that participated in the committee. Those 4 evaluators were all county staff employees, and just to protect them, we don't disclose names, but they were staff members that are within our Parks Department and Facilities Maintenance Departments, so they have extensive knowledge of not only the facility itself, but the existing, manpower for what it takes to operate and maintain a park facility.
Got it. And who selected those 4 people?
The RFP facilitator did.
An outside person came in?
The facilitator was also a staff member, but they did not participate in the evaluation. They just made sure that the process was followed accordingly, and it gave they made the schedule for meeting. And so to answer that question, they did meet 2 times. The first time was stated, I can't remember the exact date, but they met, and the RFPs and evaluations were provided to the evaluators. They talked about what should be considered and what has the most weight in their scoring. And then they were given 1 week to independently review those proposals that were submitted, and then they came back to discuss their ratings. So they met twice.
Okay, so the individual who did not participate in the actual conversations, once the process began, is the individual who selected the 4 people. Is that correct?
I believe that to be correct.
Okay. So the process then, in the end, involved 1 person who then selected 4 other people who then were engaged in the process and came up with this outcome.
But the 1 person, yes, that is correct.
Okay, very good. That's just an initial question. That's all for now, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Supervisor Flores? Okay. Okay, not seeing any other questions or comments. Oh, Supervisor Caput.
Go to your last slide, if you would. It's a little, no, keep going. Yes. What's requested of us today?
Today's request is the approval of the selection of Influencers Youth Sports as the successful vendor as a result of the competitive process, so that we then, General Services may then enter into negotiating the terms of the agreement.
That's a little bit different from the discussions I had in the past, because this is where I thought, and maybe I'm just not understanding the process. So clarify this, and if I don't get it, I guarantee other people don't get it, because
Understood.
I've been watching this. I thought with this approval today, you all get to go sit down with the successful, what are they called? IY what?
IYS.
IYS. And you get to negotiate an agreement that you have to bring back to the board. Is that not true?
That is not true. This type of agreement is an operational lease, and the Chief General Services Officer has the signature authority on those types of agreements.
So let me ask you a question. What if what you negotiate, and I'm assuming in those negotiations that Northwest Baseball will be engaged in that in some way because they want to continue to play there. What if what you negotiate one of the people up here doesn't like?
The negotiation would include the terms of the operational lease, so days and hours of operation,
But the board doesn't get another look at
insurances
it.
to be provided.
Am I right about, the board will not get another look at it?
That is correct.
Is it possible that we could?
I could ask counsel.
I don't know the legality of the process that you have to follow.
Yeah, I have a question. I want to confirm, I believe that the authorization it's in an ordinance code, correct? Or is it that in the policy?
It's an ordinance that that she has signature authority.
Okay. Yeah, she has signature authority, but your board could request that it come before your board to review before it's approved, or that for the board to approve it. You've given her the authority to execute. But it doesn't have to be done in that manner.
By the way, I'm not casting aspersions on you, Michelle. I'm just asking that question. All right, so we could request it if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Chairman. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
So, thank you Supervisor Couch. I appreciate that discussion and that question. I think that's an important question, that the board has options. So whatever action's taken today, hypothetically, if it was approved, and I'm saying if, they can go to negotiations and then come back so our board has absolute assurances that there's maximum play, that all parties are taken care of, or whatever may come up from one of us in the future, that is an option. So thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
It's not before us yet. Right now, it's negotiate and execute, but it's good to know that we have that option as a board, that they could hypothetically negotiate and come back again in a public process.
Yes, you can direct staff to bring it back to you rather than executing.
Thank you. And thank you Supervisor Couch. And thank you Supervisor Perez for your questions.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, not seeing any. We'll go now to public comment on this item.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the board. My name is Corey Davison, President of IYS. First, I want to acknowledge the long history that Northwest Baseball has at these fields and the many families involved in that program, including the former president who signed this contract so many years back, Mr. Steve Holloway, who I spoke with last night, who supports us in this. I personally played recreational baseball here in town, played in 3 Cal Ripken Babe Ruth World Series, and was lucky enough to play professionally. Our intent has never been to replace Northwest Baseball. We are here to make these fields a destination complex for baseball and softball players. We are here to help the kids in this community play the game that we all love dearly. With us operating the complex, the cost for the rec league could be cheaper. Our proposal includes a guaranteed annual reinvestment of $75,000 back into the complex, and that is to improve the fields and facilities for the benefit of all players and families who use them. This investment is in addition to the costs associated with operating the facility of this size. This year, January 1st through June 8th, we've grossed over $220,000 in our 8 travel ball tournaments. Our goal again is to revitalize the complex while creating a collaborative partnership that strengthens the facility and for baseball and softball players in this community. We remain committed to providing the recreational baseball opportunities for local families, underprivileged youth, while ensuring the Metro Complex continues to serve as a thriving complex and resource for youth sports throughout Kern County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, Chris Keeler, CHRISKEELER. Chair and members of the board, thank you for this time. For nearly 25 years, the Northwest Bakersfield Baseball Association has held the lease to the Kern County Metropolitan Recreational Center. Northwest is a true recreational league, $250 for a full season, a little over 3 months. No tryouts. Every kid who wants to play gets to play. Now IYS, which has only ever ran club and travel ball tournaments, has tentative approval to take over that lease. In our area, club teams charge $200 to $1,000 every single month and cut kids who don't make the team. Recreational ball is already at capacity. Both Northwest and Southwest leagues fill up every season. A lot of families simply cannot afford club ball. IYS gave the county and Northwest a spreadsheet saying they could save money by renting from them, but it leaves out practice time and playoffs, an extra $32,350, plus insurance and Cal Ripken fees. The county's draft contract would only let Northwest use the fields 3 nights a week and 2 weekends a month. That would stretch our season past 3 months, push playoffs into summer after school lets out, and likely conflict with IYS's own annual Schools Out for Summer tournament, or substantially limit its enrollment, forcing it to turn kids away. Northwest has been a strong steward for this county facility. It's put over $1 million into upgrades and built 3 new fields. Supervisors, if Northwest loses this lease, hundreds of kids could be left without a place to play affordable rec baseball this year. Imagine the phone calls, parents having to look their children in the eye and say they can't play ball because the fields are gone. Please don't let that happen. Keep the lease with the organization that has served our kids for nearly 25 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Felt a lot different when I was practicing in front of my dog this morning. It always does. It does, right? My name is James Hintz, JamesHintz. I speak today of a parent of a player who has participated in both rec and travel baseball for multiple seasons, including this last spring season, 11U champions, I'll add that, at the Metro Baseball Complex. My family has spent countless hours at the facility, and because of that, I have firsthand knowledge of both the potential of this facility and the unfortunate reality of its current condition, thanks to the gross mismanagement under its current tenant. Last summer, the 10U Cal Ripken Regional Tournament was held at the Metro Complex. To say it was embarrassing is an understatement. Teams and families traveled from outside of our area, and what they saw did not reflect the pride we should have in Kern County baseball. The field conditions were poor, and the overall presentation of the complex fell far below what our young athletes deserve. Many suggested canceling the tournament and moving it elsewhere. Others openly mocked our community and said they would never return, which I thought was pretty sad to hear. In its current state, the restrooms are often unsanitary, the pitching mounds are often dangerous, the lighting system is antiquated at best, and the overall field conditions are rougher than a stucco bathtub. The county has a responsibility to its residents to select an organization that will best maintain, improve, and advance the Metro Baseball Complex. Influencers Youth Sports is that organization. They've been a wonderful ambassador of our county for years. They have invested thousands of dollars into this community and brought revenue to our hotels, restaurants, and stores. They have repeatedly, and I will restate, repeatedly said that their highest priority is keeping rec baseball at the Metro Complex. And despite how the current tenant has let it go downhill, they've still expressed a willingness to partner with them and continue providing opportunities for local families and all of the players behind me. It is not about eliminating rec baseball. It is about creating a better future for it. I would encourage the board to stick with Influencers Youth Sports. They have my full support, and I hope you'll do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Donnie Williams. Right here, you saw a slide earlier. JBA started in 1989. No, it did not. I have a contract or a program here from 1970. I played my whole youth. My brother, My dad, if you do the research, Byron Sanders and my dad ran that for years. And you can look at this and see, majority of the names in here played professional baseball, and they were all inner city youth. I will take each and every one of you out there and show you that facility. But they're saying that the ranking scale here, Northwest was marked down because they didn't have references. Well, you know what? Here's all your references right here. This is a cross-section of over 1,000 kids that will be displaced within 1 year if you allow influence youth sports. They have a 1-year retention. But I'm here to let you know, those pictures do no justice. Because you know what? You see the disrepair that Sam Lynn Ballpark did with our homeless. They come over from the river. They tear it up. They don't have the time to go out here and repair it 24/7, 365. They have to maintain the fields and everything. But I will tell you this, you will not find a better cross-section than inner city kids. I'm a taxpayer, I played there. And I'll tell you what, let's make good use and let's keep Northwest baseball there and let's support Northwest baseball and not tear them down. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
My name is Joshua Lewis, Joshua. I'm the secretary on the board of directors of Northwest Baseball. I also happen to be the chair of the Bakersfield College Math Department. The story unfolding before us is really Logic 101. False assumptions lead to any manner of absurd conclusions. False assumptions lead to any manner of absurd conclusions. I'd like to first address the rumors that have been echoing through your walls and social media. There's no agreement between IYS and Northwest. Any suggestion to the contrary is under false pretenses. Be assured the Northwest Board is passionately resolved to maintain this lease. Passionately. We are passionately resolved to keeping rec ball alive and thriving. Rec ball is community. It is your community. Mr. Flores, there are children behind me that literally trick or treat at your house. We get great candy bars, by the way, and we appreciate that, especially during election years. We've served your community as a nonprofit for nearly 30 years, actually, apparently, more. And I implore you, do not make your community an afterthought to the $200,000 in the last, to the for-profit ambitions that are just hiding behind a nonprofit in mere infancy. What is it, 3 years, I believe, they've had their 501(c), their nonprofit status? Please, and at the very least, before you cast this vote today, look these boys in the eyes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Good afternoon, Board. I think you all know me. My name is Tracy Richardson. I'm with Senator Shannon Grove's office, and I'm here on her behalf. In support of the Northwest Baseball League and the many families it serves throughout the county. Senator Grove believes that youth sports are one of the most important investments we can make in our communities. They teach responsibility, teamwork, perseverance, respect, and leadership, lessons that extend far beyond the baseball field. For years, Northwest Baseball has provided an affordable and accessible opportunity for local children to participate in organized sports. Hundreds of families depend on this program, and the league's success has been built through the dedication of volunteers, coaches, parents, and community members who have invested their time and energy into creating opportunities for our youth. As the county considers this contract, Senator Grove encourages the board to carefully evaluate the impact any decision will have on the children and families who currently use these fields. The primary purpose of public facilities should be to maximize access for the greatest number of local youth participants. There is significant concern among families that awarding management of these fields to a club travel ball organization could reduce access for recreational players who currently utilize the facilities throughout the week. Many families cannot afford the additional costs often associated with competition travel programs. Public facilities should remain places where every child has an opportunity to participate, regardless of their family's financial circumstances. This decision is about more than a field management. It's about preserving opportunities for local children, supporting community-based recreation, and ensuring the public resources continue to serve the broadest possible segment of our community. Senator Grove respectfully urges the board to prioritize accessibility, affordability, and participation when making this decision. The measure of success should be how many children are given the opportunity to play, learn, and grow through youth sports. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Kevin Charette.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. When Northwest Baseball first began operating this facility back when it was JBA, the park was overgrown, neglected, and in need of much attention. Speaking of Steve Holloway and I have known each other for years. He's with Holloway Painting, had the vision for what it could become. He and many others helped build the foundation for what Northwest Baseball is today. More than 2 decades later, his grandson now plays in the very league he helped create. That is what this park represents, generations of families building something together. When Northwest entered into the lease with Kern County, only Field 1 and 7 had lights. Over the years, the league invested millions of dollars and countless community resources to transform this facility. Northwest Baseball installed lighting on additional fields, scoreboards, batting cages, field cameras, Wi-Fi infrastructure, irrigation improvements, and other enhancements that were not funded by the county. This park has also never been easy to maintain, no secret. It's a location near the riverbed, brings constant gopher issues that damage fields and irrigation. The irrigation system is old and requires ongoing repairs. They do the best they can. In some areas, even the county can't fully identify where all the underground lines are. We've asked for maps. Northwest Baseball knows this facility because it has been maintaining it, repairing it, and improving it for more than 23 years. The county is not evaluating the same park at least more than 2 decades ago. The park being considered today exists in large part because Northwest Baseball volunteers, sponsors, families, and community partners. Northwest Baseball was built to provide affordable recreational baseball for local children of all skill levels. It is not just about competition, it is about access, opportunity, and community. Once a community-based recreation league loses its home, it may never recover. Facilities can be leased, equipment can be replaced, but a community built over 23 years is far more difficult to rebuild. I respectfully ask this board to pause and reconsider whether replacing a proven community partner is truly in the best interest of our Kern County kids. And I would like to clarify, can I ask for a slide with the picture of the neglect of the facility? Is that a possibility?
Yes. Can we do that, please?
As many of you might know, I was board president for 2 times in my 20 years at Northwest Baseball. The building that you are seeing there with the lights and the boardroom and the bathroom is attached. That building, I had personally met with the folks with the county, and they deemed that the structure there a liability. They had told us that it was in the county's best interest to demolish that building and put portables there. It's not that we wanted to continue to neglect that building. We were told by the county that they were going to do something about that building because it was a liability. That's not due to us. That's due to a promise that facilities had told us before I left as president. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. That's helpful. Guys, I'm so sorry. I know that was exciting. Kevin Shrett's very talented, has been as long as I've known him. These proceedings in here, when they start getting rowdy or loud, it tends to intimidate some people, even quiet some people down if they feel outnumbered, or it's just not the kind of setting we want to have in here, because we want to be able to disagree peacefully, civilly, and respectfully in here. So if I could just, I'm not chair anymore, it's actually his problem now, but I just thought I would just tee that up for you.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Perez. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Natalie DiMaggio, Dimaggio. IYS just demonstrated through our RFP that we have the experience, knowledge, drive, financial capacity, and commitment necessary not only to manage the Metro Complex, but to improve upon what already exists. Our proposal was built on a clear vision for the future of the complex, one that focuses on serving families, athletes, and the broader community while ensuring long-term sustainability and growth. We understand the concerns that have been raised regarding the future of recreational baseball. I am here today, along with the other board members, to reiterate exactly what we propose in our RFP. IYS is committed to preserving, strengthening, expanding recreational baseball and softball opportunities, and are excited to include this language in our contract to show our commitment. Our goal is not to replace what exists, but to improve it. We believe recreational sports are a vital role to youth development, and we are dedicated in making the experience better for players, families, coaches, and volunteers. We are committed to serving the underprivileged, underserved children of all ages and ensuring they have access to quality baseball and softball programs. We believe every child deserves the opportunity to participate regardless of financial circumstances. The Metro Complex is an important community asset, and we believe our proposal offers the best opportunity to enhance programming, increase participation, improve facilities, and create a positive experience to everyone who uses it. We are excited about the opportunity to partner with the county and the community to build upon the strong foundation that already exists. When an competitive RFP process is conducted and evaluated, the results should be respected. Upholding the outcome reinforces public confidence in the process and demonstrates a commitment to fair, transparent, and objective decision-making. IYS was selected through the process because we demonstrated that we have the vision, experience, financial stability, and commitment necessary to successfully operate and improve the Metro Complex for the benefit of the entire community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Any other public speakers? How many more public speakers are we going to have? If I could just get a show of hands. Okay, perfect.
Hi, my name is Jesse Solis, S-O-L-I-S. I have 3 little boys that play baseball right now in Northwest Baseball. I know all of you guys have seen that movie, The Sandlot, you know, with the little kids in baseball. Yeah, yeah. I remember that field. My kids love that movie. If you notice in that movie, that field is like an old beat-up field out there. You know, it's nothing pretty to look at, but those kids had a blast out there. You know, and these people, they host their tournaments at Northwest. They've done it before lots of times, and I've seen their kids laugh and have a great time out there. Just like my kids and these kids have too as well. It's a very simple thing. We're all nonprofit here. There's no profit motive here whatsoever. I don't know what's on the other end. I don't know all the complex things that are said today, but all I know is that it's worked and it's still working. And yeah, we got a couple of broken things out there, and we're always taking help from anybody who wants to help us. You don't got to give us a check. You can just come out there and build some stuff and do some stuff out there. It's more than welcome out there, you know, because we're a community out here, and it takes a village to run an army or something like that, right? You know, so if we all pull together, we can make this place an even better facility than what it is, because like I said, all these kids are sitting behind me right there. They love playing out there, you know, and we're not saying that we could possibly lower prices. Our prices are low. Not that we could do that. But, you know, the one fact thing is all these kids are out here Not all of them are going to play professional baseball. This is just baseball fun for kids. That's it. To get them to fall in love with the game, so when they go to high school, they have something to inspire them to get good grades and keep going, and possibly be where you guys are at. Some of you guys know me. I work in our schools or whatever, you know. I volunteer out there. So I have no profit here whatsoever. Just my kids and the facility and the smell of good hot dogs and kids' laughter and sunflower seeds going all over the place. Thanks.
Thank you. Can we get our next speaker, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Allison Arnold Wormachik, Arnold Wermeychik, AKA Mom. I have a son who's played in Northwest Bakersfield for 4 years. Just rec ball. He does other things. He does lacrosse and travel hockey, and he does other sports. So we don't have time to commit to one thing. And what we've found out is that some of the corporate entities that are taking over these youth sports are in it for profit. They're in it to monopolize the time, monopolize the space, sell tickets. So we were out in Milwaukee, and I went to my nephew's corporate tournament, and they charged $30 to walk into the baseball game, to watch the baseball game, because it is an entity that is for profit, that is trying to squeeze out the rec leagues that we have here. And what we're doing is having fun. We're learning. We have great coaches. Shout out to Coach Lewis. Shout out to Coach Solis, because they've been our coaches the whole way, and they've been amazing. So we're here to have fun. The kids are great, and the facility can be helped, can be fixed. If you look at the percentage, it's real close to what the corporate entity has to offer. And there's, just because we don't have recommendations, and maybe our paperwork isn't great, or needs a little work, I think there's considerations there that you guys could discuss, so that our kids can have the access to the baseball fields that they deserve, because I fear that we will be squeezed out entirely, and we won't be able to play, and we won't be able to play for a decent price, or be able to play at all. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comments? One more. Anybody else? Okay, so, yeah, right after you, sir, then we'll wrap it up.
My name's
Go ahead,
Eric
sir.
Baker. I'm a 20-year baseball coach. I'm very involved in the community of baseball. Most of these people know me, and probably on both sides. I coach rec ball, travel ball, high school, all of it. I'm here to talk about influence youth baseball, influence youth sports. And the county's decision regarding the baseball management of the Northwest Baseball Complex. Over the years, I've personally witnessed the decline of this facility. It's not about personalities, organizations, and who. I have friends on both sides. It's about the condition of the county asset that serves hundreds of local children and the safety of them. As a coach, I've had to place a piece of plywood over broken sprinkler boxes located out in the outfield that haven't been fixed for more than a year. No coach should have to worry about that. I've also had 2 players that I had to take to the urgent care due to ankle injuries and knee injuries due to the flooded field conditions because of these sprinkler boxes. Those are easy fixes that don't cost a lot of money. That's just not taking care of the field. The condition of these fields has become so poor that many teams no longer want to play there because of safety concerns and just outright not being able to go to the bathroom, anything like that. As participation declines, recreational baseball loses families, loses players, and ultimately loses revenue. The numbers reflect what many of us have seen firsthand over the years. What concerns me most is that instead of focusing on solutions, there has been misinformation spread about influencer youth sports wanting to eliminate recreational baseball. That's just not true. I've had many conversations with Corey and Rodney about that, and it's just not true. They're going to do whatever they can to have recreational baseball. My understanding is they have tried to negotiate with Northwest. Northwest denied that negotiation just kind of out of spite. They want their lease. If not, they don't get out of our way. That's not right. So those efforts were rejected. Today, I've asked the board to focus on the future. We need safe fields, increased participation, responsible management, and an organization willing to invest in the facility and the kids who use it. The complex belongs to the community, not Northwest Baseball. Our children deserve better, and I believe influencer youth sports provides the best opportunity to restore this facility and rebuild confidence in baseball for Bakersfield.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, come on down, sir. Okay, were you raising your hand to speak as well, sir? Okay, anybody else that wants to speak, just so we get an idea? Okay, can we just have you come down to the front? So we've got a long agenda to get through still, so we just want to make sure everybody can get heard. Go ahead, sir.
Henry Brum, Henry Brum. I didn't plan on speaking, but I felt like I should. I was out at Northwest Baseball from 2004 until 2022. I had 3 boys that have gone through the facility. I sat on the board for 10 years along with Kevin Charette. When we took that facility over in 2004, there was 2 fields. We built the rest of those fields with community, commitment, sweat, tears, and a lot of hours. What a lot of people don't realize is that the facility itself, faults are on the county. We rent the facility from the county. The county had very little help or input at the time when asked for services. We did all the stuff. We put in the time, we put in the effort. If there's a broken sprinkler, we fixed it. We didn't just put a board over it, we fixed it. You just keep moving on. We had 2 full-time employees that are there 5 days a week, sometimes 7. We count countless hours. My only question is to the IYS team is that, yes, they plan on keeping rec ball. In their statement, they've said that. How long? Is it until they're not needed? Right now at entry, Northwest will be their #1 customer. It's built-in clientele. At what point do they not need them? Will they get rid of them? Whether they plan to or not, I don't know. They're saying not. Hopefully they keep their word. I just ask the board to consider Northwest Baseball's been around for many years. They've been running it. Just let them continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Ken, last name Cleek, C-L-E-E-K. Heard a lot of discussion about the appearance of the field, heard a lot of discussions about the revenue that can be raised with club ball. Difficult decision. I hope y'all make the right one. I want to bring a different perspective. My grandson, Josh, is a pitcher at Garces. He started playing rec ball, 7 years old. Sorry. We tried club ball. Wasn't for him. We tried travel ball. Wasn't for him. Northwest got him to Garces, and he's thriving. And he's looking to get a scholarship. I'm sorry. He makes me emotional. He's looking to work hard to get a scholarship to a college. It's more than baseball. It's more than money. It's about impacting lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last speaker, please.
My name is Jason Royer, R-O-Y-E-R. I'm actually the Vice President of Northwest. I've heard a lot of comments today, and the one thing that I want to actually invite every one of you supervisors is that state tournament that was talked about last year and the poor field conditions that was talked about earlier. Come and look at our state tournament that starts this Friday. Come out. We have 36 teams that are coming from all over Central California to participate in the state tournament. Fields are greener than they've ever been. Fields are nicer than they've ever been. We don't have any sprinkler boxes in the play of field to be tripped on or broken ankles on. They're outside of the field of play. IYS, we have always accommodated them. One thing that I know that the board wants is the most people to use this facility. We've let IYS rent out the facility. They do 6 to 8 tournaments a year. A lot of those are at our facility. As soon as this became a contentious matter, IYS canceled their remaining tournaments that they had scheduled with us and took that money away from us and said, hey, you know what, we're not going to host our tournaments at your facility. It actually made some teams that were involved in their travel ball go to other tournaments because they want to play on baseball fields, not on softball fields where they were actually renting from. We have accommodated anybody that wants to come out there and participate. And I invite each one of you to come out and join our opening day, which is at 1:30 on Friday. I hope to see you out there.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no more public comment, we'll bring it back to the board. Supervisor Perez.
Thank you. When I sat down and I saw these muchachos here with their baseball, my heart just melted. I wrote here Sandlot too. I showed it to Couch because he would never lie to help me ever. So I knew that I was covered there. You know, what I have heard from you and seen from you today really fills my heart because this is a kind of community reality that is very, very hard to develop, in particular to maintain over time. It takes a whole lot of dedication. It takes resources, time, energy that are sort of superhuman to keep the group together. You're multi-generational over time. You know, I believe you. I believe every single one of you. And I think what you have done there is so incredible. The investments you have made in your children and grandchildren, they are priceless. They are in perpetuity. And so, you make me so proud to be part of Kern County because you are quintessential Kern County. This is a hard issue, as you know, because this board likes to have a process that is fair and transparent, and we like to be consistent about that. But if you have observed this board over any period of time, you know that this board is not married to those processes. And many, many times, often against my chagrin, we have disregarded the process that involves often very limited information or at times missing very material and significant information. So, I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that this body is married to that result, although we appreciate it. It gives us guidance. You know, there are larger political and societal considerations at play at any given time. And so to me, as I sit here, first of all, I'm embarrassed that we've let our county assets get to this condition, to any condition that's not safe and beautiful for you and your families. And I want to apologize to you for that. I know my team is very passionate about fixing up our public spaces. We've done $50 million in East Side parks. I love these people. I think they're absolutely extraordinary. But with time, it appears the county has neglected this facility. And I think that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that that has happened. A place where children and families gather of this nature should be absolute top priority for our resources to maintain and to promote and to move forward. As I look at public asset and how it should be used by the county, and I'm only one person, and my other colleagues will have their positions, and I see this extraordinarily professional, sophisticated, savvy group that is here today, I really imagine that they have the sophistication, the resources, and the know-how to replicate what they do and be who they are just about anywhere. And so the idea that we would remove an actual multi-generational, community-oriented, asset, which is you as an organism, uproot you because of a frankly often arbitrary scoring process. To me, that's unacceptable, and I'm not convinced that that makes sense or that's good for Kern County. So my colleagues are going to give you their opinions, and they may feel otherwise, but I want you to know I've been so compelled by what I've seen from you. I so appreciate the way you have organized and the family values that you are promoting here. You are here because of your families. You are here because you believe, because you have invested, and there's no reason why this county should not be partnering with you to make sure that is the finest facility in the Central Valley, if not the state of California, because our children are special. We certainly have the corporate partners to make that happen. So those are some of my initial thoughts. I'm gonna vote to keep this contract where it is. I think that's righteous and appropriate. I don't know that my colleagues will agree, so don't get too excited. We got to hear from them. This is a democratic process. We win, we lose, but we do that civilly and we keep moving forward. But it's a rare moment where we are presented with such a beautiful community asset that has been generations in the making. The idea of dismantling that or doing anything but coming alongside you and being your partners in perpetuity is just beyond my comprehension. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest. And I want you to know I stand with you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I can.
Supervisor Couch.
First, I want to say that I really wish this moment had occurred before the last time I disagreed with the RFP outcome.
You knew I was talking about you, Dave.
So, thank you to, this sounds obligatory, it is not. Both of you, both sides of this are passionate about what they do and feel strongly about it, and I appreciate that. And I'm glad you're here today. I'm really glad the kids are here today, the young boys, to see your government make decisions and how we have to kind of grind it out. And we don't always get it right, I'll tell you that much, but we try. Your parents don't get it right every time either, but they try to. And you have to eat your vegetables, okay. This is an emotional issue for everybody, and I respect that. It's a business decision of the county, and by that I mean this. I want the best outcome for Bakersfield, for Northwest baseball. Does that mean they stay there status quo? Does that mean they become a tenant of IYS? Did I get that right? IYS? I don't know the answer to that question. The only way I think we find out the answer to that question is if we empower or allow, those are two very different verbs, allow Michelle and her team to sit down with IYS to come up with an agreement that we get to then take a look at. And in that agreement, it can say anything. I know there's concern that, hey, Northwest baseball could get edged out of this in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. Well, and I don't mean anything by this, but I'm going to be blunt about it. It doesn't matter what they say. It matters what the agreement says. And so there can be a lot of things in this agreement, and I don't have details that I want to give you today, but I want to give you the sense of where I'm at with it. I don't know that you can get there because I don't know the details of how many days IYS is going to need it, how many nights they need it, how many days and hours Northwest Baseball needs it, how many other things might happen there. But I do know this, whatever happens at that facility, it's going to need money. And that's an unfortunate truth, but I would like to give this a chance to see if there's a way that you can come to some arrangement that we can all live with that benefits Northwest Baseball and allows IYS to do their thing as well. I don't know if that's possible, and I'm certainly willing to say that if it's not what I think it ought to be when it comes back to us, that I don't need to approve it. So that begs the question, what happens if we don't approve any agreement with IYS, assuming she's given the authorization to go ahead and negotiate?
Supervisor Couch through the chair, if you do not approve the recommended action, is that what you're asking? If you don't
No.
if you don't approve an agreement in the future?
I'm saying if we authorize Michelle to go negotiate with IYS, and whatever she brings back, the majority of the board doesn't like, doesn't want it.
You can send it back for further negotiations, or you can find some other direction.
Well, I'm sure, and I don't know the details of this, but I'm sure, well, you got opening day coming up, right? So the next, I'm assuming the next season is not in jeopardy with any decision we make today. Is that correct?
No.
Anybody know?
We have not opened up registration yet because we don't know what is happening.
Well, it has nothing to do with North. Okay, all right, thank you. I heard opening day and I thought that was your season.
I have a suggestion. I don't know, and I'm willing to hear from General Services and CAO if this is not workable, but you could provide direction to amend the agreement to extend it for a short period of time while you continue to work out other negotiations. And then they can bring that amendment with a short extension back to you for retroactive approval.
You're not suggesting we do that today, you're suggesting that come back as a separate item, okay.
Correct. But
So-
you can ask them to go forth and negotiate an amendment that does a short extension of the current agreement, bring it
Okay.
back for a retroactive approval to give you time
Okay.
to work on that.
I would like to, I'm in favor of seeing what can be worked out in an agreement that recognizes the importance that the board hopefully has in maintaining Northwest baseball, seeing if there's a way that IYS can conduct their operations as well. But I don't think we can do that unless we give you the authorization to go negotiate. So I'm willing to support that, but I'm going to be very interested in the details as to what comes back, assuming that is the will of the board.
Go ahead, Michelle, sorry.
Supervisor Couch to the chair. Our current agreement does allow for a holdover period, so we can continue while we move into negotiations.
So nothing we
Just to
do
clarify.
will impact their season going, at least this current season. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Couch. Supervisor Flores.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone that's come out and spoken. So during the discussion, this has kind of been couched in either or proposition in terms, but I really think that we can have a win-win here and have both, and I think both are critical. Rec ball is absolutely critical. Travel ball, and that's, that's club ball, that's critical too. And, this facility belongs to the taxpayers of Kern County, to all sides. And so I really think that we can navigate this and have a win-win and elevate it, and both can play. I don't think we can have it's not couched in either or terms. And I understand the reservations, and I understand the prospective awardee who scored the highest. He's made verbal assurances, and I welcome that. And there's been an opportunity for both sides to engage. Northwest did not want to engage during the interim process. That's your decision and you're right. But why can't we come together, all sides moving forward, move forward, and then let's drill down on those assurances. And I like where Supervisor Couch is going, that the final contract come before us, so we have more than verbal assurances, that we have contractual assurances. And I want to ask staff, do you have a base template of that contract right now, or that's going to be developed and written over time? What do we have at the moment?
Supervisor Flores to the chair. Yes, a base contract was provided to all proposers with the instructions during the RFP process.
Okay, so in that base contract, do we have current written contractual guarantees that would protect recreational baseball in the current base contract?
Supervisor Flores to the chair. No, those were part of the negotiations that will
Okay,
occur.
so it's contingent upon negotiations.
Correct.
Okay, so, I'm comfortable with moving forward as is, and then having all sides get together if all sides want to, and if all sides don't, then staff and influencers, you work on the contractual guarantees that would guarantee recreational time, practice, ball playing, and come up with a solution and an agreement that our board can consider moving forward. And this way, we have everyone protected. We have a guarantee, and then also contractual guarantees about the $75,000 investment. I want to make sure that that's in writing, which would help reinvestment in the fields, because the contract that we have now, the vendor does do the maintenance and operations. And if they're struggling with that, I think we can only go up. And, I don't want to see those conditions look like that. And I don't know the context of that house with the lighting, what's that? What was that about?
Supervisor Flores to the chair. There's currently a building out there that was, we cannot find a permit that it was constructed with. So it was not, we have no evidence that the county constructed that structure. So we don't have answers to that structure, but
Okay, but it's not our structure.
it's on our property.
So the structure was built on our property without approval. Okay, so those are the things that need cleanup and professionalization. We just can't have it ragtag, because it's a safety issue for everybody. It's a liability issue, it's a safety issue, it's an optics issue. So I'm comfortable with going forward. I want all parties, if all parties are serious about this, all parties need to engage. I can't make you engage, but you should engage. Because I think that both sides are bright, both sides are passionate, both sides have history. If both sides can get together, I think we can only go up and be elevated and have a win-win situation. So if you move forward, get the contractual guarantees, come back to our board, I think our board would have some assurances And I think we can make this a win-win for everybody.
Thank you, Supervisor Flores. Supervisor Parlier.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, the speakers that came up today, I was really moved. I mean, this is so Americana. It's unbelievable. And I mean, I have several people in the audience I consider friends. Kevin's one of them. And I've got a lot of respect for the people that spoke. I totally agree with my colleagues. As far as coming up with a solution contractually or otherwise to ensure safeguards, so both entities, so to speak, are able to provide the services that this community deserves. And I do have one question for staff, though. There was a statement made regarding rent from the county and doing certain things at the facility. Could you just clarify, what those were or may have been? Anyway, that's what I wrote down. It was
Supervisor Parley, I'm not familiar with the statement that you're referencing. We don't receive any rent. I'm sorry, Christina has the details about that. Would you mind?
Supervisor Perlier, through the chair, I'm not
Well, maybe they were
exactly certain
alluding
what
that-
you're referring to. We do receive rent. It's a small annual fee from the operator of the facility, and then we enter into the contractual agreement for them to operate and maintain the facility. Due to the lack of expenses or funding on their part, they have requested that the county step in and help out when we can.
Okay.
So that may be what you're referring to.
Right, so maybe they were alluding to that we were going to take care of certain needs.
That may be, I don't know what they were alluding to.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Parlier. Supervisor Perez.
Thank you. I feel the same way about Supervisor Flores's Panama Park. It is literally used by just about everybody in Kern County. I feel that way about this area too. It is used by just about everybody. It seems appropriate to me, if possible, as we get park money in the future and we divvy it up equally, there should be some consideration. I would be willing, as one person who's had profound investments in my parks, thanks to you, to go, why don't we, think about some resources we have for parks that could go into a facility like this that is serving everyone, every corner of the community. Supervisor Flores is almost stuck with 2 parks in his district, of which everybody uses, at profound liabilities associated, but he's technically got just one district's park money. So from one supervisor, I'm hoping to put the other ones on the spot here, but I would be willing to direct park resources into this facility, because what I've seen here today is so beautiful. I'm gonna go home and watch Sandlot tonight. Because Chris said it, this is beautiful. We have so many reasons to fight and dislike each other, so ugly. And here's this beautiful thing that it's so precious what you have done. And I want you to know it's encouraging, because we see people come down here and they fight like cats and dogs. And I know we get egos involved. We want to win. We don't want to lose. That's human nature. But this is something that's very beautiful, very special, and very much worth preserving. And I know people from my district are benefiting from this, Jeff. So as you look at this asset of yours and want to, make it even more glorious, I think as a body we should think very seriously the way we do about Hart Park and Panama and this one here, because everybody's using it, and there's so much, good being done for families in Kern County. So just a thought.
Thank
Jeff.
you, Supervisor Perez. I welcome that, and I appreciate you commenting on that regional asset that all our districts share, and I'm very grateful and thankful.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Perez. Any final questions or comments from the board? Or direction to staff?
You're looking for a motion?
Look for a motion, but it sounds like the consensus would be to change staff's recommendation a little bit.
So, you had your last slide up there. That'll help me. So I'll make a motion that we authorize the General Services Officer to negotiate with IYS a potential agreement with special emphasis on the maintenance of Northwest baseball, and that agreement be brought back to the board for approval.
And with may I? And with
Sorry.
and with guarantees of equal access and play.
Best efforts, the best efforts will be made to provide for, I'm not sure how to phrase this.
You know.
Are you getting my drift? Okay. Sometimes we do it that way, guys. So the motion is to approve that you're negotiating with IYS with special emphasis on Northwest baseball to try to maintain them at an acceptable level. And that agreement be brought back to the board for final approval.
Second.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to item number 8, with the Public Works Department. We'll give everybody just a minute to make their way out of here before we start our next presentation. Okay, now that we're all settled in, we're going to move to item number 8. Request to set a public hearing on a proposed sewer increase in ordinance with the County Service Area CSA 71. I'll turn it over to Public Works.
Chairman, members of the board, Joshua Champlin, Public Works Director. I'm joined today by Adrian Nava, Assistant Director and General Manager for Kern Sanitation Authority. Before you today are four separate items. We're going to hear them concurrently, vote on them separately, and they all concern different geographical regions within CSA 71. So first, a little background on CSA 71. This was formed to provide sewer planning and sewer disposal to unincorporated parcels in Metro Bakersfield. 600 residential parcels and 55 non-residential properties receive this benefit. County maintains approximately, over 13 miles of active sewer mains in this area. And we have 4 separate zones of benefit which align with the 4 items today: CSA 71, 71.1, 71.2, and 71.3. We also have in this area, what we're going to be focusing on today are portions that are serviced by the city of Bakersfield's wastewater treatment plant. So City of Bakersfield provides the sewer service for CSA 71, and this has been an agreement since the 1980s. Per the current agreement, the city has a base rate, and through the agreement we have with them, we are billed the same rate as the city customers. And on top of that, there is a small excess charge to maintain the over 13 miles of lines within unincorporated part of Kern County. The next slide shows you really why we're here today is recently the city has passed Proposition 218, and their city council voted to implement a 5-year rate plan. So starting on July 1st of this year, the fee will go from what it is currently at $247 to $475. And by the end of year 5, that annual sewer fee on all city users will be $875. This is a map of CSA 71. The red line is the boundary for the entire CSA, and then through the middle there's a dashed blue line. And what we're really focused on is anything south of that blue line. North is NORSD, south is Bakersfield. The gray areas are incorporated portions, and all of the white areas are unincorporated, and that's where our customers reside. You'll see the statistics for unincorporated, 630 properties, 575 residential, 55 commercial. And then now to go one by one through each one of the CSAs. CSA 71, what we're going to show you here is if nothing is done to raise revenues in a 218 process, this is the result. This is just next year. So keep in mind that every year after this year, that city fee is going up an additional $100. So if this is fiscal year 26-27, we would have $28,000 in revenue with over $41,000 in expenses for a net loss of over $13,000. And in all cases, our current rate is $295 per single-family dwelling. This is our proposal for CSA 71. The top line is the total fee on each customer that would be assessed. The second row is the city fee, and the third row is what we're here to really talk about, is the county fee that we're looking to get. In our fee structure, that City of Bakersfield is simply a pass-through fee, and that's how we are structuring it. And so that third line is the cost to do business in the unincorporated portion of County CSA 71. So it would be $74 in year 1, going up $2 a year for the next 5 years. Next is CSA 71.1. Revenue is set to be over $37,000 with more than $74,000 in expenses. Notice we have put the direct pass-through cost, $60,325 to the city. Our net loss would be over $36,000 in this first year. Our proposal for CSA 71 is to, on top of the pass-through, is to add an additional $110 in the first year, and that fee will go up $5 a year for 5 years. CSA 71.2, revenue without a rate increase in 26-27 would be $70,000 with expenses exceeding $126,000 for a net loss of $56,000 in year 1. Our plan is to assess $60 on top of the pass-through to the City of Bakersfield for year 1, and increasing $5 a year for 5 years total. At each one of these slides, I'd like to point out the bottom line. It says net impact on general fund per ESFD. Staff worked to find the numbers necessary in order to not incur any general fund liabilities when we move forward. So we're providing your board with an option that stays away from having to subsidize with any general fund money. And finally, CSA 71.3. Without any rate increase, we're looking at almost $95,000 in revenue with over $174,000 in expenses, $130,000 of which would be passed through to the city for a net loss of almost $80,000. And the plan here is to implement $100 above the city pass-through rate in year 1 and increasing $10 a year through fiscal year 2030, 2031. And then before I return it back to the board, I just had some takeaways I wanted to state here. Today we're simply requesting that your board authorize sending out hearing notices for the Proposition 218 process. If that is approved, then we send out mailers tomorrow, and we would reconvene here on July 28th for a hearing. And at that time, your board can, if they're in the absence of a protest, your board can implement fees up to what I have proposed today. Anything lower is acceptable. It's into your board's authority to do so. Of course, if there is a valid protest of 50% plus one, then California law says you cannot implement that rate increase. I also wanted to state that the rates provided include several factors. One is staff has looked extensively at the staffing levels, long-term and short-term maintenance, major maintenance needs, and historical spending within these CSAs, and I believe they've done a very good job of decreasing costs and absorbing costs and looking at savings. And so these numbers that were presented to you today are different than numbers we came to your board a couple months ago, I believe. These numbers have changed quite a bit. Every rate is set at levels to avoid using general fund contributions. And there's also, there are also provisions in there, we do have them set to be able to build some kind of a reserve. So while we're different than the city of Bakersfield, we don't maintain or construct wastewater treatment plants. We're simply a conveyance function. We're getting it into the city's system, and then the treatment happens at the treatment plant. We operate on a very small budget. In the packet that you received, there is an engineer's report with a very detailed breakdown of expenses. And we operate very lean in this area, but because we have such few users, that cost to the users can't come down any further than it is. And then you probably noticed that each CSA had a different fee. And while they do provide essentially the same service, some of them have different features that cost more to maintain. Specifically CSA 71.3, it does operate one lift station, and in doing so it has more expenses. And so that's why that cost of 71.3 was a bit higher than others. And it all depends too on how many users are in each one of those geographic regions. I will note that we are in the process of consolidating CSAs, and we will continue to do so. And I think that if we can consolidate these 4 into 1, we will see some economy of scale savings in the future. But we're just getting started on working on that right now. So that's the goal, and that's the hope, that we always want to lower the fees to the lowest we can on our constituents. And with that, that concludes my prepared remarks, and I'll return it to the board.
Okay, thank you, Director Champlin. Any questions or remarks from the board? Okay, I'll start looking at the board letters from March 24th and today. I see where it says, the dollar amounts on here in March, increasing from the current level of $295 to $875 by the end of a 5-year term. And what is the difference in that structure today? I don't see the numbers on the current board letter.
Supervisor Peters, I don't have that prior meeting in front of me, but in the first iteration, we came with one cost for all 4, but upon further review and speaking with council, it's more appropriate to treat each one of them individually. And so now we're treating CSA 71, 71.2, 1.2, and 0.3 separately because they are distinctly separate. They were formed separately. And so those, within the slides that I showed you, there were different rates depending on which CSA. For instance, CSA 71, if you want to go to that slide. So on this one, this was CSA 71. So there's the 4-year on the top. So above and beyond the set 475 by the pass-through to the city, the total would be 549, 651, 753. So that was CSA 71. So that's that top line would be the fee we would assess on the property owners within that geographical location, knowing that that second row is purely passed to the city based on what they have passed at their city council.
Okay. So, from my point of view, I think the county's portion of this, the 82 in one area, 130 in another area, all that, I'm happy to talk about, but as far as I'm concerned, in March, we voted not to send out 218s to pass along the city's ridiculous increases to the rest of the county, and we voted it down, and I don't think that we should even be voting on it again, frankly, but it was not the right thing to do then, and it's not the right thing to do now, in my opinion. We always want to protect our general fund, and I get that, but sometimes we have to use our general fund to protect the public, and this is not a good move by the city, and I think we're going to continue pushing back on this, and I think that in the year or so it might take to get this resolved, that the county can deal with it rather than shifting these increases immediately onto ratepayers. So I'm not in favor of this right now, but I welcome any comment from other colleagues.
Thank you. So, yeah, the city raised the cost, and those costs are going up no matter what. So it's a question for me of who's paying for them. Should those who are not bearing the costs pay for them, or should those that are getting the increase, should they be paying for them? So I'm fine with the 218 and moving forward. I don't want to see they go up, but we're not the genesis for that increase. It's the city. So it's now, these costs are coming no matter what happens. So its question is, who's going to bear the cost? And I believe that those responsible for bearing the cost are those people who are getting the service and the increase in service. And so I'm fine with moving forward with staff's recommendation. Because I don't think people in District 2 or District 5 or people not related to this should be paying for this.
Our chair has stepped out, so Supervisor Parlier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So 74,000, right? Approximately? That would be what we'd be on the hook for?
Supervisor Parley through the chair. The total, that would be for just one of the CSAs. So the total cost for all four of them would be, for year one would be $140,000 in year one. So I think 74 was just one of the CSAs. Right. So the total is close to $140,000 in year one.
Well, I agree with Philip in the sense that we want to ensure that rates don't necessarily go up, but I look at it as that amount of money. I mean, that is a code enforcement officer, that is a sheriff's deputy, those monies, if they come out of general fund, correct?
Correct, Supervisor.
So, excuse me, we're in lean times right now and still uncharted waters as far as our budget. And even though we have a big budget, a majority of those are pass-through dollars and not necessarily within our general fund. So, I think every nickel counts at this point. And so I look at it as, again, it's a park worker, a deputy, a ranger, code enforcement. I mean, the list goes on. Somebody in any of the various departments that we have, even your department, Josh. So therefore, I'm in support of staff recommendation.
Thank you, Supervisor Parley. Supervisor Perez?
I think that was excellent.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Oh, sorry about that.
Supervisor Flores?
Thank you. And so this is just one CSA for 1 year's increase, correct?
Supervisor Flores through the chair, this is So we call it CSA 71, and within that, there's 4 separate geographic locations that are called 71, 71.1, 71.2, and 71.3. And within that whole area, there are about 655 customers broken up.
Okay, so multiple within this one.
Right, and the total shortfall in year 1 would be 140,000 combined on all 4.
Thank you for that clarification. So, but what's not in here, if I'm correct, I don't know. What about the future city escalations over future years, over 10 years? Isn't it going up in different years and for extended period of time?
Yes, you're correct. Year 1, it's $475. It will go up $100 a year for the next 4 years after that. So yes, the deficit, the longer that we wait, the wider that gap gets.
So what happens like in year 7?
Well, the city has passed a 5-year rate plan, so in year 6, they go back, but in year 5.
Year 5, yeah, do we
Let
have
me do some math for you really quick on the spot.
200,000, $250,000,
380,000 in year 5?
380, okay.
Yeah.
380, okay. And that's at what they've currently done over at the city?
Correct. That will be when the city rate hits $875 a year in year 5. If we do nothing between now and then we will have a $380,000 deficit spending.
And I noticed there's other, like, what about item 9, 10, and 11 after this? Is it the same issue?
Yes, they're just divided to vote separately because they are distinctly different
I see.
CSA
But
regions.
all of those 9, 10, 11 are part of what we're doing in number 8?
Correct.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Couch?
Can you give us a rough idea of the number of parcels, total number of parcels in those 4 CSAs? Or customers, I guess you would say.
The clerk would put that on the screen for us.
You have that, right?
Yeah, it's right here, but it's 630 properties, 575 being residential, and 55 commercial properties.
Okay. First of all, I don't even know how to say this properly, to really express what I'm thinking. But I'll say, I'm unhappy with the decision that was made by the city of Bakersfield. I understand their need to raise some rates to handle their sewer system needs and maintenance. I don't think they went about it. They did not go about it in the way that I would do it. Or I don't think they went about it in a way that the board would do it or the county would do it. I'm hopeful that we get to a more reasonable number in the future. I'll leave that there. There's 500, 600 parcels there that your recommendation would allow the city's rate to be passed through to. If we don't do that, and this is not, you're going to get my point. Somebody in Delano is paying a little bit for that. Somebody in McFarland is paying a little bit for that. Somebody in Fraser Park and Arvin, their services will suffer slightly. They won't know it, but that's the impact if we don't allow the rate to be paid by the people that actually use the service. That's my opinion. I am willing to have these, to authorize you to have these notices sent out so that on July 28th, you said?
Correct.
We will have a hearing. I don't want anybody to leave that's here at this meeting or hearing this meeting to think that when it comes back to us, if there's not a successful protest, and if it comes back to us, that I'm going to just rubber stamp these numbers. I might not. I am willing to let you send the notices out so that the people, in fact, I think it's a good idea to keep this issue in front of property owners. This is not my preferred way of doing it, but this is one of the benefits, I guess I'll say, of us doing this. And I'm putting that in quotes because it's not a benefit. So I will vote yes. I don't know that I will vote yes on July 28th. And I'm really hopeful that efforts that are underway will be successful in bringing the city to a different conclusion that they have already reached. They have the ability, before this is put on the property tax rolls, this number, this amount, they have the ability to lower that. They can go about this a different way, and just for the sake of the public, anybody who's listening, I know nobody wants to have a discussion about sewage on a Tuesday afternoon at 4:13, but that's what we're doing. If revenue bonds were used, if debt was issued to pay for the upgrades that the City of Bakersfield system needs, this could be done for much less money per year. They would pay more, we would pay more, and we would pay longer, but it would be a lot less per year than the numbers you just showed us. Correct?
Yes, that's the conclusion of our analysis.
We hired outside counsel to attend the meeting and to make a presentation to show that at their hearing. She did that. She did it very well by all accounts. But it was, in fact, I thought it was teed up for someone on the city council to say, why don't we just do that? That didn't happen. So we are where we are. So thank you for your presentation. I'll support that. I have no idea what I'm going to do on July 28th. Thanks.
I wanted to say thank you. I know you guys have a difficult job. You guys have a lot of these issues that come up, and this isn't a situation that any of us want to be in. This is, again, a situation that was created by the city of Bakersfield. And while I respect my colleague's opinion on this, first and foremost, again, we've already voted not to send out 218 notices on this. So I think the fact that we're voting on it again is not what we should be doing. But also, $140,000 impact to the general fund divided by 630 parcels is $222 a year, or that $222.22. So that's groceries, that's gas for a family. Yeah, not one more employee for the county, but if you divide 140,000 by the 421,000 parcels in Kern County, that's 33 cents. And I think I would be willing to pay 33 cents. I think most people would be. Rather than forcing this $222 increase per parcel on a community where we've already said that this isn't what the right thing to do is. We're already saying we're going to fight it, and I think that doing it right now, passing that through is preemptive. I think we need to take the year to work with the city, take whatever actions we can to get them to reassess this. And then a year from now, maybe we come out ahead, maybe we don't. But we can always go back out to 218 then, next year. But that's my opinion on it. And actually, I'll ask one more question. I don't know what I can say or talk about, but can we go into any thoughts or detail at this point about how we're going to push back on this?
Chair Peters, I'm going to refer to our outside counsel on this. Claire Collins.
Thank you, Chair. So when you say how to push back on this, I believe you're making reference to Supervisor Couch's displeasure with the city's recent actions. I will say that in working with the Director of Public Works, there has been a communication to the city requesting consultation, requesting a way for the county and the city to talk about other options. As this board knows, the rates are implemented pursuant to a contract that the county has with the city. The county is very interested in talking to the city about how we might work with them to recast that contract in a way that would be more beneficial and more equitable to county users and not force any subsidies. In general, we talk about in the rate setting world, we talk about fair share. We think that everybody should pay their fair share for these, and there's definitely a concern that I raised at the city council meeting at your behest about it not being a fair share allocation. And I did also, as Supervisor Couch mentioned, raise the issue of alternative financing mechanisms in order to spread these costs over time to achieve generational equity. I think that, again, through Director Champlin, we can continue to reiterate those messages and request some type of relief from the city. We are waiting for them to get back to us. We contacted them more than a week ago and unfortunately have not heard anything substantive back. But we will continue to push that issue because, of course, we would like to see a beneficial resolution in favor of all the county's residents, including the ones within the city of Bakersfield and the ones within the CSAs.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate it, and thanks for all your work on this. It's been a huge help. So, Supervisor Couch, are you punched in again, or was that from before? Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? I don't believe so. Yeah. So are there any members of the public that want to comment on this item? Anybody? All right, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Yeah. Motion on staff's recommendation.
Second.
The motion is approved, 3 ayes, 2 opposed. Supervisor Peters, Supervisor Perez.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to the
Number 9. Gotta
number
do
9.
all.
Oh, I forgot we have to vote on each one separately. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to number 9. Do we have a motion on number 9?
Motion.
Second.
Jeff, I need you to vote.
Sorry.
The motion is approved, 3 ayes, 2 noes. Supervisor Perez, Supervisor Peters.
Thank you. Number 10.
Motion.
Second.
The motion is approved, 3 ayes, 2 noes. Supervisor Perez, Supervisor Peters.
Okay, and lastly, item 11.
Motion on 11.
Second.
The motion is approved, 3 ayes, 2 noes. Supervisor Perez, Supervisor Peters.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our agenda, and our next meeting will be June 16th, 2026 at 9 a.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn to next week.
Without objection, we're adjourned.
Thank you.